Hi, I'm Connor from Roundtable Audio, and today I'll show you how to set up and use a guitar pedal. Guitar pedals come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Some do one thing, others do multiple things. Whatever it is that the pedal does, all guitar pedals work in the same way, by taking your guitar signal and transforming it somehow. Let's look at this overdrive pedal. When it's off, my guitar signal passes straight through to my amplifier. But when I turn it on, it can completely change the signal, making my guitar sound fuller and grittier. To use a pedal, the first thing you'll want to make sure is that it has power, because it's not going to work without it. Where possible, I recommend using a power supply over a battery. They're much more reliable and you don't want your pedal suddenly cutting out. But batteries are a great option for portability. Just make sure that it's fully charged or that you have spares before any important gigs. If you have multiple guitar pedals, then using a dedicated power supply is a good idea, as it provides an efficient way to power your pedals and reduces the chances of interference or noise from muddying your signal. You can also daisy chain pedals together if they have the same power requirements, but this can introduce noise into your guitar signal. If you're just getting started or playing at home, then it's not really a big deal. But if you're playing live or in the studio, then I really wouldn't recommend it. Now that your pedal has power, it's time to connect it to your amp. The most common way to do this is to take a guitar cable and connect it from your guitar to the pedal's input. Then, using another guitar cable, connect it from the pedal's output to your amplifier's input. So, the signal will go from the guitar into the pedal, which changes it somehow, and then onwards to your amp. This is known as putting your pedals front of amp, as the signal enters at the very beginning of the amplifier, passing through the different sections. Some amplifiers have an FX loop, which gives you another way to connect your pedals. Your guitar amp has two main parts, the preamp and the power amp. At their most basic level, the preamp shapes and colours your guitar tone, and the power amp makes it louder. Putting your pedals front of amp means that the whole signal passes through both the preamp and the power amp. Using the effects loop means that you can put your pedals after the preamp stage, but still have them output by the power amp. But why would you do that? Well, some effects like delay and reverb sound clearer without being coloured by the preamp. By using the effects loop, the pedals can apply their effect cleanly to the post-preamp signal. This means that the pedals themselves don't have to pass through the preamp, which will colour their sound. It's a good option if you want some clarity from your pedal. Once you've connected your pedal to the amp, you're ready to go. To turn it on, press down on the power button with your foot. Some pedals, like these Boss pedals, have a platform that moves down, whereas others have a button that you click. Now that your pedal's on, you can shape how it sounds by using the onboard controls. Again, there's a lot of different types of controls depending on the pedal that you're using, so I'll use this overdrive pedal as an example. On this pedal, there's a control for level, which is the volume of the pedal, tone, which helps shape how the pedal sounds, and drive, which is the amount of effect that's applied to the signal. Play around with these controls to dial in a sound that's to your liking. It's helpful to make a note of the settings that you like, or take a picture of them on your phone, because they'll more than likely shift out of place over time. As fun as it is to just plug and play with the pedal, I always recommend reading through the manual. Without reading the manual for this Dunlop pork loin, I'd never have known that it actually has some hidden controls inside that help shape the sound even further. Over time, it's likely that you'll add more pedals to your setup. To connect them together, you'll need to use small cables called patch cables. They work the same as guitar cables, they're just much shorter, which helps preserve your guitar's tone, and they're also much tidier. Using a longer guitar cable is not only messy, but it will also decrease your guitar's tone, and can introduce noise and interference into your signal. I also don't recommend using these patch connectors. They might seem like a good idea, because there's even less space between your pedals, but they're really inflexible and can actually damage your guitar's jacks. I found that patch cables around 13 inches work best for me. Once you've collected a few pedals and are getting out of the house to practicing or gigs, I recommend using a pedal board. This will keep your pedals in order and stop them from moving around on stage. But I've covered all of this in my video on how to set up a pedal board, which you can find here. And there you have it. Everything that you need to get started with a guitar pedal. To me, guitar pedals are one of the most fun things about playing guitar. They feel kind of like a trading card or a collectible, but one that has a function, and hunting for them on the secondhand market can be really fun. I actually once bought a very, very rare guitar pedal for next to nothing secondhand, but that is a story for another video. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and subscribe to stick around for more guitar tips. Thanks.